All right, hello everyone. Today it's our Sudowrite 301. That class is for people struggling to control the AI to get the result they want inside their story. My beautiful co-host Nicole is with me today. She's putting inside the document that we're using for the last 3 days. You'll find all the generation we did, all the point of the class we've been through. It's a good document for you to go back, refresh your memory, and test it also. If you have any question, please put them inside the chat or raise your hands, because after I'm doing this, we're going to do a recap from yesterday, and any question you have, I'm going to go through, and then we're going to jump on our document of what we have to do. So if you think it's not for you today, you can go and sign up for the right class for you. So as we always do, the greeting, which we've done, the demonstration, and Q&A, not always in the same order. So today we are on the last day of the 301, and I may put a 401 for people who want to write in a different language. But on Monday, we have a nonfiction class with Nicole, which is going to be very fun to be with. Decorum, the little heart at the bottom of your screen, or when you get your little bar in the Zoom, you should see a heart somewhere, depending, sometimes you have to open it a little bit. And get the raise button, you have the reaction button, and things like that. So you can raise your hands. We're going to give you a chance to ask your question out loud. If you're too shy, put it in the chat, ask Nicole or Otter of my co-hosts. Do we have other co-hosts in here? I don't see the other one. So she's going to let me know. We're going to answer you in the chat also. All right, let's get this going. So, question about yesterday. What did we learn about Sudowrite yesterday? What did you retain and think that you will have to work with, or that you have question about? I did work on the project yesterday, and yes, it was very productive. I have work still to do, but it's very exciting. I continue with my edit chapter 1 and start working on chapter 2. Super. That's great, Atticus. Anyone else likes to share what they've done since yesterday? No? All right. So what did we do yesterday? We did go into the story Bible. We did start the Harry Potter story. We did generation of chapter 1. We did a couple of generation of chapter 1, show you can have many chapter 1. One thing we haven't done is our style box. I showed you also how to use Canvas. We didn't go too deep in it. Maybe we can work on it a bit later, but let's work on this part of the story Bible today. There is a lot to cover on this part. So yesterday we did have our brainstorm. We took our outline from the story Bible. We did go and expand on the chapter, one of the part of the Harry Potter. So in our outline, which is down here, we did do this one here. We did expand to get more information. And today I'm going to show you a couple of things with this here. Our genre is the same, fantasy, adventure. And I ask this today. I'm adding this part. I want it to be a fast pace with heavy Hollywood dialogue. Just heavy dialogue, it's kind of boring dialogue, but when you put Hollywood, I find that the AI is giving me much more exciting dialogue, more like TV dialogue, which I kind of like it for that kind of story. So I had that in my genre. My synopsis is still empty because there's enough information inside my brain dump. And that doesn't stop it from doing my chapter 1, my chapter 2, and so on. So it's still empty, and I'm probably not putting anything in it. Maybe in the future, if I get to some chapter and it says, okay, I need more information and I need to get from the synopsis, then I might go and put things in there. It's depending on the workflow. Then we have our character. So yesterday I showed you how to generate a character. And then we got all those characters, plus, I believe, was it during the class that I showed how to add a character? So this is my name, just for fun, I add me as love interest. Still don't know which one I'm the love interest of. It's not written, but I'm in here. And then we also asked for a minor character, which was to make a dog. And then he gave us a dog, which can come inside the Harry Potter story, even tell us how the dog is dialoguing with people, like woof woof. So we can have a lot of fun with this part here. So from here, let's see what we have. My point here. So I'm going to show you the difference between all chapter, even chapter 1, even with the same beat. What I mean by that, we did chapter 1. If I go here, I put all my information in little boxes so that I don't get all mixed up with everything here. But here we have chapter 1. This is a generation that we did. Is it that chapter 1, this one? That was the expansion of chapter 1. Remember when we did expand the information for part 1? Then I also did the plugin, Galactica, where the draft ends up as a synopsis to make a marketing purpose. So these are plugins that we use a little bit. Then we use also the first draft, 2 synopsis in 1. So what we did, we took 2 synopsis and we tried to mash them up together. So we tried a few of those plugins. The result wasn't exactly what we're looking for. So these you have some time to play with. This one was good, though. It had also suggestion to improve the story. So the one which is called the synopsis it was pretty good. So these goes inside the plugin here. You can find them. Just click synopsis in the search. You go in the search here and you click synopsis and you ask to find out the synopsis. And from there, you find the one you're looking for that can help you with your story. All right, and we have our Canva here. So we have 1 chapter 1 here, 1 chapter 1 there, and 1 chapter 1 there. So unfiltered, and we did use the same beats for all of them. But the result is what made me choose to make another one. So, okay, this is not exactly what I want. And I did go on. So unfiltered did something good, but that wasn't what I was looking for. And we did another version with balance. And there's nothing else than the beats that we had. So we did the balance. We did the visualization of Harry Potter come inside the training room. So, okay, that's not bad. And he gave us dialogue, but not happy enough with the dialogue. It's not the dialogue I like in my books. I says, okay, so let's keep on going. So I did the other chapter 1 with the same beats again, but then I went into my genre, and that's where I put this fast pace with heavy Hollywood dialogue. That's it, put it right there. Then I went inside this and I generate again. And here, one of the little prompts that will help you to link your chapter. At the end of my chapter 1, I create another beat. And I say, create a paragraph synopsis for this chapter. So, okay, let's test that because I like to have some little paragraph. I don't want a huge amount. I just want a paragraph that I can bring to chapter 2 on top of my beats and say, make sure that the AI knows it's a follow-up of the chapter 1. That's one way to have a follow-up. So let's see what they give me at the bottom. And all this you'll find also inside your document. So let's find the beat 15. There we go. So in this pivotal chapter, Harry, Ron, and Hermione are on the brink of confronting Lord Voldemort. So it's giving me a paragraph of chapter 1. So what would I do with this if I want to link my chapter 2? Because I want chapter 2 to know what happened before. But there's a twist also in chapter 2. Because our chapter 2 is basically introducing a scene where they receive their letter of acceptance. So we have a flashback on chapter 2. So what I did is I took my little paragraph from the beat 15 from chapter 1, put it on top of my beat in chapter 2. So I generate my beats. And after the beat were generated, I add that to the top. And then here I give the AI a small idea of what I want. See, write a scene where Harry closes his eyes and remember when they receive and open their letters of acceptance to Hogwarts Space Academy, revealing their future as student of magic technology from what seems like a lifetime ago. And then we start with beat 1. And here again, I did repeat that little part here because I want the AI to know it's a flashback. And I did have to do it a couple of times to get what I want. I won't hide that. I had to do it 2 or 3 times to get exactly the flashback I was looking for. So here's what you wrote. Harry breathed, breath itched, the hum of the spacecraft fading into the distant murmur. For a moment, fleeting, precious moment, he was not on the precipice of war, but back in a safe confine of his childhood room. The walls adorned with poster and intergalactic Quidditch stars, an enchanted model of space shuttle gave way to the electric tension that have no option, blah, blah, blah. Harry mate, do it already, Ron's voice, vibrant with youth and anticipation, cut through the silence. With a nod, he broke the seal of the envelope. So we have the little flashback. For me, that was very important to have a mention at the start of chapter 2 that my reader understand they're no longer on space right now. They are back home and they're receiving their letters. And this chapter 2, if you remember, if you look at the outline, it's all about receiving their letters and talking about the school and what's going to happen. And they talk about Lord Voldemort. So the flashback before they arrive on the space station. So that's one way to do it. Now, we have both chapters written with balance, with the heavy dialogue, Hollywood dialogue. What else can we do to link our chapter? We can create the bridge. So you create a brand new empty document, and you're going to go and copy your chapter 1, like this, chapter 1, the whole chapter 1. Sometimes it's a very long chapter 1, about 3,000 words. And it's not boring to read, but it's long to read. All right, we have chapter 2. Then you bring chapter 2. These are very important for this to work. It needs to see chapter 1 and chapter 2 inside the plugin. So you take both of those chapters, you highlight everything. So we have 7,557 words. Then you go inside your plugin and you go get bridge your chapter. And the result is this. Here is one way I could approach creating a bridge scene between the 2 chapters. The key emotion at the end of chapter 1 seems to be anticipation and determination as Harry, Ron, and Hermione embark on their mission to confront Voldemort. The beginning of chapter 2 jump back to a pivotal memory of them receiving their Hogwarts acceptance letter. So this is exactly chapter 1 and chapter 2. So here's a draft. Harry Potter breath itch, the hum of the spacecraft fading into the distance murmur for a moment, a fleeting precious moment. So it's basically telling us about the flashback. Then he starts writing, "Hey mate, you know, and that's the story. So this would be a start for your chapter 2 to put on top of chapter 2, or even inside on top of your beats of chapter 2. So like I put down here in chapter 2, when I put this part here, I could have put that part from the chapter bridge. Any question this far? How are we doing, Nicole?
Doing good. Something worth mentioning. Do you want to talk about how the headers affect the beats? How it affects all of the beats?
Yeah. So everyone knows check your beats. So the header, which I put up, you know, that part where it says, okay, this is from chapter 1, and that little prompt to the AI to make sure you understand that we have a flashback. This is the header, and it's going to only work on chapter 2, nothing else, just this one. And then on the bottom of that, why is my mouse doesn't want to go up? It's jumping. Come on, go up, up, up. It's not moving. Okay, it's not moving. Hold on, guys, I have to refresh because it refused to move from here. Sorry about that. Okay. All right. So the beats, the header. So I'm not going to open it again, and it's going to go berserk, but check your beats. And then after the header is done, is going to keep and write the beats. So the header is going to work only on the beats underneath, all of them, nonetheless, but on these. Does that answer that question? Did I understand the question properly?
I think so. So essentially, where she has the write a scene where Harry closes his eyes, and even the stuff before that, that's going to affect all of the beats, so all of the strides. So let's say you want to actually only want it to affect maybe the first half of it. After that half is generated, you would go in and delete any header information you didn't need repeated. Just keep that in mind. Any header information affects all of the beats in some kind of way.
Okay, thank you. Now, one more thing that I want to show you with this. So I show the difference. You can do many of them. Balance, Hollywood, that's done. Show the style box. All right, that will be the next thing. So remember, the style box still empty, and we still have a pretty good story. He doesn't know the style, but he's writing. I could leave it like that, or I can change it and make it mine with the voice. So let's see, let's go with chapter 2, because I really like the fact that he does the flashback and everything else. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to use all of chapter 2, which probably have too many words, so I will have to cut down in words. So let's get from the flashback, because the match my style is 2,000 words max. So from the flashback, and you can see the words which are highlighted. So we have 900, 13, 16, 19, 168, 209, too much. All right, let's get this. So let's copy 1,905 words. So they copy to my clipboard, and let's go to match my style. Match my style right here. This can be written by itself. You can have your own style. You can write it. You have 40 words. There's also an example here you can insert. So the third person omniscient POV, past tense, one short sentence, focus on action, sensory, blah, blah, blah. So this is an example that they put down that you can use, or click match my style. Here, you pass your entire text that we just copied, and we just click next. is going to analyze all the words and the sentence and the dialogue that we give, and is going to give us the tone, the mood, the POV, the vocabulary, the sentence, the pacing, and the rhythm of the story, dialogue, descriptive style. So this here, highlight everything, copy to your clipboard. I will not put it to the doc. The last time I did that, it didn't work. The one before it did work. So it's kind of a hit and miss, but I'm not going to take a chance today. So we have the information we want. It's in the clipboard. We're going to use it after. Then we click next. If there's something here you don't like or you want to change, says, okay, POV, third person limited, focus on Harry's thought and experience. You don't tell me the tense anywhere here. Where's the tense? So I could put down here, I want to have at present tense also, or I can put it later on in the in my 40 words. So let's see what's going to give us here. So click next. So third person limited POV with adventurous, optimistic tone, descriptive vocabulary, variant sentence structure, fast-paced pacing, natural dialogue, detailed and sensory description, recurring theme of friendship and determination, and futurist setting with universal theme. So we have 35 words. You just go here, insert, and then you have your style box filled up for you. You can come at any times and change it. And that's where from one chapter to the next, if you want to change POV, you can come over here and tell the POV you want to change. Now we have our description of our style in a very much longer. So I'm going to put it into a brand new document. And it's telling me that's Adventurous Hope, Iris POV, but it doesn't put it in the style box. So that's our style box. This, I will not leave it here. I will put it inside my notes for my book because it's a note for me to come back and get my information later if I want to, if I need it. Any question this far on Match My Style? Doing good?
That looks good.
All right. So Match My Style is there and you can change it. Now, how to link and unlink. These chapter, when you have many chapter 1, they don't belong to the story anymore because they don't have anything to do with the story. So the chapter, like unfiltered, I don't need it. So I went and unlink it, or I can back and link it back. And I update it. So right now it's unlink. I can update and relink it to the chapter. So outline is link. It should not be link. It should be unlink. So as soon as I click on it, it'll link it back. So this is how you, okay, update. Then I can tell it where I want to link it. So it's chapter 1. I can link it back to chapter 1. Now I say it's link it. Then it's going to talk to when we have things like chat to do something for us, it's going to look at this also. Right now, I don't want to be linked, so unlink. So what I have linked, we have chapter 1 here, the one we like, it's link. Our chapter 2 is link. And this one is our bridge, so it should not be linked to anything, so it's not in the outline. So the bridge, put it in my notes here. All right, so chapter 1, chapter 2. We're on a good stride right now, and it's a very good story, and it's following each other. Now at chapter 2, did I put down anything about? There you go. On my 16.1, I asked to create a paragraph synopsis for this chapter. Now look what he said to me, because right now, you know, it works in pair 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, da, da, da. So he put 15 and 16 together. In chapter 1, he was alone, but in this one, look what he did in the bottom. So that's where you got to go and edit. So in the bottom, it's doing this and it's telling me there's a flashback here. And it's telling part of the flashback. And then this part comes in too. So you see what it did a bit different, my little paragraph. So once you come to this and you are writing the book, go in and see what you need to keep to bring into chapter 3. Do you really need all that? Or maybe chapter 3 is going to be good on its own. So let's see if we can add chapter 3. We can add here or at the way bottom. So let's add here because it's somewhat closer. Add chapter 3. Now chapter 3 is here. In chapter 3, Universal Team as Harry settled into his new life at Hogwarts Space Academy. So let's go see in our outline what we have. So as Harry settled in new life in Hogwarts Space Academy, he introduced overwhelming team good versus evil. Do you guys think that this little thing here will give you something very good for chapter 3? Do you think we should expand it, get more information about it? Hello?
Nothing in chat yet.
Go
I
for
like
it.
the idea of seeing him settle into the academy. You know, that build up of making the connection to the characters.
Yeah. So we expand it. Which one we should use? Let's see. If we do the rewrite, then I have to select this, rewrite. Please highlight passage. Oh, what did I forget, guys? We have to go
Because
in.
you're in the box.
Bingo. Where is my outline here? Create Star Galactic.
For those who missed it, as of right now, we cannot use the tools like describe and rewrite inside those boxes. We can't use it inside the outline box, synopsis box. We have to copy them into the document like she had been doing.
Where is my outline? Okay, I don't see it, so not losing my time. Copy.
In the generation folder, generation 101 to 201, I believe.
Again, first synopsis canvas, part 1. Nope, I didn't put the whole thing. So let's get one in. Sometimes things get deleted. That's why the titles sometimes are a bit. Come here. Yeah, I did it yesterday, but I just took part of it. So make sure we have outline. All right. There you go. Outline, click somewhere, close this. So here's our outline. So let's go and expand this. Harry's settling. Let's get this part here. Expand it. Let's go to rewrite. So we can rephrase, shorter, more descriptive, show not tell, more in a conflict, more intense. Well, we want more description. And let's click go. So 100 words compared to 67. So it's not too bad. So begin adjusting to his life at Hogwarts. He become actually aware of every presence team good versus evil, change, underline conflict. Okay, we'll say that's not too bad. It gives us 40 more words of more information about part 2. Nothing stop you from going in and change it the way you want at any time. So let's go in our outline and let's get this part here.
Can I point something out?
Yes.
So in that output and in the original, something to keep in mind, because this is only like chapter 2 or 3.
3.
So let's just say Voldemort hasn't actually been introduced yet and there's no conflict yet. Keep in mind, because in that paragraph, we know there's eventually going to be conflict. We told the AI that, so it put that in there. So keep in mind, if you don't want that actually introduced yet, you need to delete that so the AI doesn't start hinting at it or throwing it out there like they've already been fighting or something like that.
Mhm. Let's test the character box here. We know that Voldemort is Tom Riddle. Let's see if we take it off as do not put it in that. See if it's going to work. So we have two ways of going. The way that Nicole said, we can go in that and says, okay, begin the life, ever versus evil, Harry personal. So here we could probably delete Mr. Voldemort because we don't know it's him yet. But I want to see what it's going to do with just taking the character out. I'm curious. Are you curious?
I'm curious.
Me too. Let's go see this. Now let's get this guy here inside my notes as my outline. And let's get this going. So let's generate our beats for chapter 3. In that time, where are we here? We did that. And that's what we're doing right now. I'm showing you how to make prompts inside your chapter, your beats, and your outline. How you can make like a flashback so the AI know what's going on. So that's what we have done here. Chapter 1, adding the little chapter in the bottom to have a link, the little paragraph synopsis for the next chapter. Show how to add the prompt in the beats, which is our little flashback at the bottom, which I add a beat, simply add a beat. All right. Okay, so we have 15. Cool. So I can keep on going the same way I was doing before. I'm going to ask my little sentence here, and I'm going to put it in my chapter 3. I'm going to go to the bottom of my beats. Just to not forget, I'm going to create beat 16 and add this there. So Ireland's friend embark on their mission. So what do we have here? I will receive his acceptance letter to Hogwarts. So this is basically from chapter 2. So Harry's beginning in a new life at Hogwarts. So we don't want to repeat that part. So that's where you go and read those beats. So this part here will be more like the header to say this is what happened. He received his letter from Hogwarts and all that stuff. That would be our flashback from chapter 2. So that you board their spacecraft and blast off. So we kind of still a bit onto the flashback. Now, from here, I would probably sit down and say, do I want this in my story or do I just want to take it off? Or just say, let's see if I can kick bash my story later, just get the whole thing done and see what I want to work with. So like I said, you're in charge at all time, right? So this is my flashback from what happened before. Now they get inside their spacecraft and they go to the station. In chapter 1, they're already in the station. So it's a long flashback. But we see that a lot on TV show too. We have a whole story that says they show what happened a week before. So you know what? You can play with that. And I love these kind of the show where you have like a big action thing, like people are training and you say, well, why are they training for? And then you see a week before, and then the whole story starts to develop from here to kind of come back to chapter 1 and says, okay, and then you get the rest of the story going on. So this is what that would be look like to me in that book. You want to add something to that, Nicole?
No, ma'am. You good?
All right, so we have our header and we have our little add-on at the bottom. So let's check our beats to make sure everything is good. So the header basically is what happened previously. I don't even have to say it happened previously anymore. It does work, no problem with that this far. Before we had to put down previously. Now I don't have to do it anymore. It does work perfectly this way. So do we have a looping in our story? That's the other thing to look at when you use with the AI. So the boarding, the arriving, getting in the classroom, zero gravity, they attempting their first class, Harry meet other students, Harry settled into his new life at Hogwarts Academy, he become aware of going. Okay, so we have, that was in chapter 2 that they were knowing, or is that's the one there? So basically now they know. So that's where the Voldemort shows up. Harry, new life, First challenge, where's that thing again? Word world. So settle, new life, sense. There we go. Bound, Harry into the academy, aware of ongoing battle between good and evil. So we don't have Voldemort. So that's a good thing. He didn't put it up. And I don't see it anywhere. Do you see it anywhere in here? Aha. At the end. Harry and his friend embark on their dangerous mission to defeat Voldemort. So we bring it at the end. I'm curious if it's going to look good. So when you do write a book, I will go in my chapter 4 and I will want to go and see what's going on right after this here. So now you see how I'm working with ChatGPT, or not ChatGPT, but the Sudowrite. I'm going to go and check everything and say, oh, okay, that's here. I really like to know what's happening in the next one. In the next one, they embark on the dangerous mission to Voldemort. That's the one there. So that's a follow-up of the last one. They get there, explore the planets. That's going to be an interesting story. Okay, I think that should work. We may have to tweak it when we get to this one. And it's not 3, that would be 4, because remember we have part 1, but the very, very first one is chapter 1. We didn't change any of those numbers. So this 3 is 4 and 4 and 5. Okay, let's get that chapter 3 going. So I don't see encounter struggling magical. Harry receive a message from unknown source. And they together. So what together? So we have Harry warning him. Harry received a message warning him. So we're warning Harry. Potential threat in the galaxy. He shared this information with Ron. So here I would put that's Harry who shared the information to make sure that the AI knows it's still Harry, which is sharing the information with Ron and Hermione. And you should not bring anybody else because it's only those 3 in the story to this far. Begin investigating and gathering clues. Okay, this to me looks all right, but I know I may have to tweak it or look in the generation what it's going to look like. Harry, Ron, and Hermione devise a plan to gather allies. They reach out a student to teach. Voldemort. So Harry, Ron, so they are embarking, stumble. They're doing the plan. Are they already in the vessel and they're making a plan, but they want to get other students at the same time? So you see how you go about to read this and put them in the right order if there's a looping? So let's see, there's no looping. I'm not exactly sure because I saw earlier that he was going into the vessel and then now he's doing a plan after receiving a special message. So maybe they have to go back to the school, get more students, and then embark again to go to this mission. So let's see what he's going to do with that. We're still with balance, my favorite this far. And I'm going to keep on it because I really like what he gave me with my little style or my genre when I put down in my genre that I want space and the Hollywood dialogue, which could be put here also. It can be put in many other places. So it's really up to you. Let's generate this one here. Nobody asked how much credit we have used so far. I'm surprised.
So we do have an outline question.
What is it?
This your general workflow. So in other words, when you work on the outline, do you generally add that much more detail or do you put in the basics?
I like to put a lot of details in my outline. If you see my outline in a nonfiction, you'll go banana because there's 15,000 words minimum, which doesn't fit in the outline, obviously. But yes, I love to add information in my outline, a lot of it, which makes sure that my beats, when they come out in order, and they come out developed enough with all the names of the people in the right spot.
And I'm the opposite. My outline is like very, very simple. It's 1 or 2 plot points, time of day, the setting, that's it. And then I load up my beats box.
Yeah. So we have the reverse way of work. For me, my beats are simple and straight to the point, but my outline is very details. And it works very good for me. And Nicole's the other way around. She have a very small outline, but she fill up her beats and put a lot of details, which also work with your genre, because in your genre, you need to put a lot of details for the AI to write exactly what you want in your books. I wonder, did you ever try to get your outline with more details and the scene more detail in your outline, what that looked like when you put your beats and write it down?
Yeah, I used to load up my outline and I didn't care for it. Beats still missed a lot of details, so I just keep the outline simple now and add all those details into the beats. That way I know it's going to be good to go.
Okay. We have someone here, Leo. Where's this guy come from? So that's our 9, 10. That's 3 and 4. We already have someone new coming in. So where are they? Harry Heart Race slip into the gleaming hexagon classroom. Okay, they are in the classroom. So they have other students around. Welcome to Technomancy 101. Boomer voice that seems to emanate from the wall themselves. Professor Cox Sprocket, a wizard of renown whose mechanical prosthetic. Okay, let's begin the levitation algorithm. The professor, the one look like we're partner, mate. A friend voice pulled Harry from his reverie and turned to see a fellow Gryffindor with a grin bright and smart named Leo, ready to make some magic. Cool. Look at my number of words. I'm at 3,200 already. And it kept on going. So with that much word for me, I really like to have a lot of words like that because it's easier for me to remove and fix things than having to add it, because I work so hard on my outline and things like that. I love when I see a lot of words coming up. I prefer to remove things and just add what I need to just make it the punchy story that I want. So I want to see when you get to the 15, 16, it's going to give me my little paragraph. Almost 4,000 words. Yeah, 4,000, and it's still going. It's writing beat 15 right now. It's writing fast. So, in the art founding aftermath of their narrow escape from the asteroid field. So we have our little inside the humming cockpit as they draw close to their ladder, and with that star, they witness Harry. So our little paragraph is a bit longer than just one paragraph, the 1515, but it gave us a resume of what happened. And we have 4,000 plus words. So I'm not surprised that we have a pretty good synopsis of this chapter. So 325, that's not bad, 325 words for chapter 4. So if I was to keep going with my way of my workflow, would just go chapter 4, and my outline would be done already. So I would go in my chapter 4. I would put my little right here. Before I do my generation, I would go and generate my beats, copy, put it on top. This is one of the workflow we'll be using. we spend a lot of time of that. I want to show you how to work your character and the world building. And we're already at 45. Oh my goodness, that went so fast. How are you doing into the chat, Nicole?
Doing good.
All right. Character. Let's get there. The character here, this is taken from the synopsis of the Braindom. We already know that. We can customize our character. If you have your own work and you have your own character that you want to bring in, you can import character and they give you a template. So you can pass your character here, you can drag the file here, you can get this little. Now I'm going to see if I can, if I share this, it's not going to show up this way. I'm going to open it and then you're going to see what that looks like. So close this, get in here, open. I have to change my sharing page just a second. Where is it? Number, this one. Share this. All right. Can you guys see? This is the template they give you here. They give you the name, the role, the pronouns, and then you can go and add your character as you go. So you can change and put all the information. You save in a folder, and then you can bring them back in. So if I close this one, it's going to ask me if I want to save. You save it somewhere that you can get back, and then you come in and you import that. So I'm going to delete this one. I don't need it. Apply. And I'm going to share this one here. All right. This is the exportation of this story. So this is Harry Potter's story that we're working on. It's giving me the list of characters that we produced yesterday. Me and the dog are still there in the bottom, and we can go and change information we want, save it, re-import inside Sudowrite. So let's close this one and let's keep on sharing the main page. Here we go. Any question this far on these?
Chat's good.
Okay. Character. Now, if you go inside this here, show to export, that's done. Create your own customized character here. How do we do that? There's a little thing that I put down here. A character, backstory, and things like that for this kind of story. What you want to know for your character. What is backstory of that character? What is background of the character? What is motivation and his goal, his strength and his weakness? Things that you really like to have in your story to show up. Why that character is doing that in that story, like Voldemort, down he was born from a bad family, blah, 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 and make sure it's in the character. So these are examples of things that you can ask in the character box. And what I mean by that, you come here and customize, and you can add these. So for me, I worked with true stories. So I wanted the birthday and things like that. So if I go into my things, I say, okay, I want to have his new unique trait and Kurt. So I copy this here. Can copy this also if I want to. So I can give more information to Sudowrite. I come here and I go add. And I pass what I want. I want to know his unique traits and Kurt. Add to current character. So that's me, the character which on your page right now is going to show up. Then you can save it as your new default. Saved. Now you go inside here. Go in the bottom and it should be right there. Unique trait and quirks. It's empty. You can ask Sudowrite to fill up for you, or you can fill up yourself by hand. So let's get Sudowrite to do it. Fill this in. See what it's going to give us. If you understood what we're looking for into our character. We need that little music there that they have. That doop, doop, doop. So Harry possesses an uncanny ability to seamlessly blend magic with advanced technology, a skill that set him apart from his peers. He has an habit of absent-mindedly twirling is laser one when deep in thought, despite the futurist setting. It clings to old habits like wearing his round glasses and keeping a collection of ancient magical artifacts in his quarter for good luck. So you see how you can play. And if you have the right information, the AI will give you exactly what you're looking for. Like what is secret? I really like to know what his secret is. And that's how you build your character. You make them the way you want for your story. Any question this far on character? Let's see for the fun of it, how much credit do we use today? So generate trait for the character, 2003-23. The other one is 1927. Our prose in Turbo, 43,000 credit. The beats, 3,000 credit. A little rewrite to expand our chapter 2 or chapter 3, 190 credit. Not too much. Our style here, 180 credit. And the other one, 659. So this one's the 40 words. This one is the big one that we copy with all the more deep, detailed information. Sounds good? All right, let's get this. Make sure I got everything that I'm supposed to teach you today. So we have our character. Any question on character, on how to customize them? Or anything that you like to add, Nicole? That's done.
No, ma'am, just want to say have fun with the character world building. The names of the boxes. Sorry, y'all, I'm still sick. The names of the boxes, like where she has unique quirks or, age, all that. Keep in mind the name of it acts as instructions for the AI. So I can put physical description, but then I might tell the AI to actually do something like focus on height, build. I could put all these details in there. So keep that in mind. You can guide the AI more with the title of those fields acting as instructions to get very specific and niche down to where you want it to focus on versus just kind of giving it free reign. Oh, give me a physical description.
Yeah. So what you mean here, by adding this here, growth and development, add it and save. I'm going to go here and I'm going to say here, this is what I want you to show me. Ask more details about what you want in the growth and development. So show how the character evolved over the course of the story, learning their experience and overcoming their challenge. So when we go in the character, we'll go in the bottom here where we put the last one here. And when you say fill this, that's where you put that information. Or you could have it right here after the dot. You could put it there too. It will work the same way. Then you click go. Now it knows what you're looking for as the growth and development for Harry Potter with more details that you just gave him. So through the story, Harry evolved in a naive and impulsive student to a seasoned warrior and tragic acumen. He learned to rely more on his friend, insight, and strength, overcoming his tendency to act alone, which makes sense with Harry. His vision of the future become a burdensome as accepted them as part of his destiny, using it wisely to gain an edge on the battle against Voldemort. So that's very interesting add-on to Harry Potter right there. And all that information is going to be used into the story. So once you have a lot of details on your character, Sudowrite is going to use it as he's writing your chapters. So you can see that more details and everything that you need for your story is in your character and your world building. More details you're going to have in your story and stay on track. I lost something in my, okay, my chat was gone. All right. Next, let's see what we have here. So develop our character. Done. So you can come back on this and see everything that I add on. So technology, you can ask for the technology. So the laser wand, the enchanted gadget, the newfound power, all the information that you think that can be very useful to the story. Short to link the chapter with, that's done. Special prompt in outline, that's done. The plugin, we showed it, that's done. So the world building is similar to the character. You can ask all those information inside that. So what we mean by that, world building. This far, we know that we ask, what's the organization of the story? Where is it? So the magic system, what's the magic system they have? So they tell the magic system, the source of the magic, who's using the magic, and the school is using magic. What else we can ask inside the world building that will be interesting for our story? The lore will be a good thing to ask. So you can go here in setting and ask the lore. Did I ask anything about the lore? No, nothing about it. Special. So let's go for lore. What would you put in here, Nicole? Would you put something or just click go?
I might, on this one, since Voldemort's playing a thing, I would ask Voldemort's history with the Wizarding World or things like that, just to get an idea. It might be something I would end up deleting, but it's something I would want to know with the lore. And maybe the history of Hogwarts Space Academy too. Of course, that could go in. This is where I start going down rabbit holes, y'all. I come up with all kind of ideas and then decide, okay, wait, should it go here or somewhere else?
Let's see what it's going to do with that. So the lore between the story of Voldemort and the magic school. This is in the world building. There's so much you can do. You can say, okay, I'm working on the fantasy. You can build your own customized item for your story. For me, I work in French, so I have a world building customized for French. So let's see what it's going to give us for the lore with the information that we add. So Voldemort Reign of Terror show the Shadow Era. So wow, it gives us a pretty big description. So the Dark Ascendi refer to the period of the Lord Voldemort rose to power with the Iron Fist, spreading fear and chaos across the galaxy. This era is marked by his relentless pursuit of dominance over both magical and non-magical behind really. So it's a pretty good information there. Voldemort campaign began in a series of covert operations during his period of dark period. Voldemort influence spread like wildfire. Despite overwhelming odds, pockets of resistance emerged throughout the galaxy. So that's not a bad description for the lore. Now you can make your own, like we did our character there. So if I go to, this is the one for children. So book for children, what I want to do in my book for children, in my world building, this is all the information I like. I like to have the description of that world. If I can put another title, the age group, the genre, the style, what species is in that story? Do we have magic? If so, which one? The language, keep the language simple and fun. So it's going to give me information on how to do it. Begin with a hook. Introduce the main character. These are the way you can play with the world building, and that world building become your brainstorm. You understand what you can do? There's so much things you can do with the world. Customize your world. You can go like in French. That's in French. So describe the story, the title, the subtitle, undertitle, and the character. But this is all in French, and it's going to give me my information in French. Same thing with Spanish, New World, nonfiction, and fantasy. So here you can get like the realm description. Create vivid and distinct realm, each realm, and there's a lot of information after that. and it's going to give you all the information. And from there, you can use it as your brain dump. You can even make your own outline from the world building right here. It's vast what you can do with this one. It's like magic in a box, this one here. So I did speak about that. So we know the location and magic interrogation. So we get, that work. Now, anyone likes to know how we bring our chapter into a document, or everyone is good with that? And then we open to question. Yes, please. All right. So I'm going to share my whole screen here. Desktop, share. All right. I have what we call Vellum. This is what I use to do my books a lot. I also have Atticus, and I have, what's the other one I put down in here? Atticus, Vellum, Scrivener, or any document you want to bring it in. So what I do, when I'm happy with my chapter, if you are like us, you're going to go in and you're going to do all your story in here. You're going to use all your laser tools, fix it the way you want. Then you just go select all, copy. You bring it into your first chapter in Vellum, like this. Remember when I told you the space between when we go in our setting at the start of it? These things here, make sure you get at the smallest one. Don't indent your paragraph, because once you get inside your program, there is big space. So sometime for purpose of marketing and page saving, when they print them out, it's better to have all these things removed. That's something you may, as you publish, or your publisher will do it for you to save papers and getting less costly to the printing by getting all those space off and saving like maybe 10 pages of a book, and sometimes even a lot more than that, depending on how big is the book. Basically, you just go and add your chapter and get chapter 2. You do the same thing. Select all, set a copy, bring it inside, pass. Then now you can go in here and you go and fix it. And you can see as you go what that look like inside this one, which is basically, this one is fire, or what that's going to look like on the iPad. It's something, a class we can do on how to work inside Vellum, Atticus, and Scrivener. Scrivener is, you're very good in Scrivener, Nicole. That would be maybe your, which one you prefer to use for your books?
I use Scrivener to copy my prose into and do my edits. And then I take everything into Vellum when I'm ready to format and do my final read-throughs.
Okay. So we have different way of going about it. Vellum, Vellum, Vellum. And it's inside our document here on the bottom. I think if you go on the start of this here, you have links to all the item I'm using. And did I put Vellum? Yeah, Vellum is here. So you can click here and you can go to Vellum. There's the Autocrit too, which is fantastic to do stories, bring your story in, ask Autocrit to look at it and see how you can fix things. It's a very good one that Nicole taught me how to use. So it's a good one. Grammarly, definitely for your, how to correct your words, your sentence and things like that. And for me, I need to listen to it. So I use Speechify. So what I do in my Vellum, once my book is there, I go and I generate, and I just ask for the Kindle and the print. I change this is a different one, but I just go in and I put down the right place where I want to put it in. I generate, and I take that generate version, bring it into Speechify, and I go in my car and I just listen when I'm on the road or on my phone and I can listen. And when I hear something which I don't like, I just pause, go to my Vellum or wherever my book is, fix it, change it, and move on. So, question. Yeah, Vellum is for Mac, but Atticus is very similar and it's for Mac and Windows because it's a web base, but it's yours. So do I have it on this computer? No, I don't have it on this computer. I have it on my other one. So Atticus. This is Atticus. I don't think I will be able to log in. So you can install it. They give you the install. And from there, you can have it on your computer wherever you work, and it's saved as it goes. Okay, it's down here. So I would have to go and log in and get everything attached. Right now, it's not attached to this. This one is attached to another of my account.
And y'all pay attention, if y'all do NaNoWriMo, pay attention when that starts back up. They usually have very nice discounts for Vellum, Atticus, Grammarly, all these other things. And then, of course, Black Friday. I know Vellum did a really nice sale on Black Friday, this past one. So keep an eye out for those kind of sales and discounts.
Yep. So how are we doing? Do we have any question in the chat that need more useful writing aid and Autocrit? Yes, absolutely. So there's a lot of information, a lot of helping program that we use. So that's why on top here is mine, where I put a lot of my article and story. I use Medium for many years now. I have my KDP, so people can check the KDP. Otter is the one that, if you are someone who likes to talk their story, you're a storyteller, but by voice, you can use the program like Otter. You talk to your cell phone, is going to record your story, but it also is going to type it at the same time. And you can, when you get to your computer, you open Otter, all your text is there. And if there's something which look wrong, you can listen to it. There's a little listening button at each paragraph. And you can listen and say, okay, that's not what I said. And you can go and fix it, copy and bring it inside your Vellum, your Word document, or Sudowrite and work on it from there. So all these are basically what I use for my workflow. And yeah, that's basically everything I use right there. What's the question about the tax?
I was reminding people, if you're trying to make a career out of this, you're actually doing this to make money.
Mm-hmm.
All of these programs that you're paying for, keep track of all that because it's deductions for you.
Yeah, go register yourself, register your pen name. If your name is your pen name, register it, and that open those tax. I don't know about the US, but in Canada here, you have to register to be able to actually claim all these things. So it's much, much better to register for sure, because it's make your tax season a lot easier.
Yeah, you don't have to do that in the US. You can just keep it under your regular name and everything. But if you're like me and have several pen names, it does make it easier.
Definitely.
God forbid, during an audit or something, if I sort them out, these expenses are associated with this, pen name, like book covers, editor costs, things like that.
So people like us, here's my advice. Do not go and register every pen name as a business. Register one pen name as a publishing company where you can put all your pen name underneath of it. So that gives you one company to register, and all your pen name gets under the umbrella of that publishing company. Still you, but it's under the umbrella of your company, which is your publishing company with all your pen name underneath. Anything else I can answer? Did I answer every one question and you're all ready to go and write in Sudowrite and feel comfortable and get a book published at the end of the month?
Hi, Manon. And Nicole, I actually had several questions, but I don't want to, maybe I can just ask one, and then if somebody else has questions, I can come back. But I did have several questions, if that's okay.
Go ahead.
First one that you went about was, let's talk about the summaries. Is when I'm working in writing my story, is the first part is I've written chapter 1, and then what I tend to do is that I'll copy that, and I kind of saw you do this here, and then to summarize that, and then I summarize my chapter. I put that into the header. I mean, this is the actual beat section. I didn't. That's another separate question about the check beats thing, but I actually put in. I put down summary of chapter 1, and then I summarize it, and then below that I put the brackets of what I want to be done, like third person, omniscient, blah blah blah, and then I write my beats. So my question is, that's the way I've been doing it, and it seems because now it can refer back to a chapter, so it doesn't forget, so it knows what it's pulling from. But I also saw that you did something today that was called Bridge Your Chapters plugin. Does that summarize a chapter? Was that, or is that just making a transition basically?
It's basically a transition between two chapters. So basically it's making a link that make the chapter 1 to jump into chapter 2 seamlessly, to get the AI sometimes says, oh, okay, it's not a brand new story on chapter 2, it's a follow-up of what happened before. But you're gonna take the whole chapter 1 and put it inside your beats on top. So this is what happened before. It's going to be very long, and I think we still have a limit in our beats here. So the summarize of chapter 1 or chapter 2, depending on where we are, that's where I put it, and that's why I got it to be done in the same time that he's doing his prose, or his, yeah.
Okay, so it not only is a transition, but it does summarize the chapter by using that particular plugin.
It's not a plugin. Basically, it's a beat that I add at the bottom.
No, the Bridge Your Chapters.
The Bridge Your Chapter, yeah, that's the plugin that I made. That one here, Bridge Your Chapter. And there's also Connect My Chapter, which do the same work, but this one is using Claude 2.0. So those two will connect two chapter, which you take the two chapter, full chapter 1, chapter 2, whatever chapter you want to link together to make sense. You put them inside one document, you create a brand new document, and you bring them both chapter in that document. Where's my, I put it into my notes. So stack, create, bridge. So this is the one that I used. So I put chapter 1, and this is the important part. He needs to see chapter 1. Even if your chapter 1 is just one paragraph, you put chapter 1 there, and then you put your chapter 2, copy everything, and we know it's 7,000. It goes up to, I think it's 9,000 words, I believe, that my plugin goes with. And that's where I give you this here, a bridge. It's telling you why he's doing that bridge. And here's the draft of the scene that you can put on top of your chapter 2 to bridge chapter 2, chapter 1, and chapter 2 together. Which, if you look at this and you look at the one that I got from that little thing that I asked at the bottom of chapter 1, it's very, very, very similar bridge. That answer your question?
I no, that's understandable. Yeah, because I was just doing it on my own. I was just writing a summary of what I wrote, and then I put it there in the header with all the other information. So, and I would write summary of chapter 1, so Sudowrite could recognize it, just so it could refer back to. So, but it's nice to know that's what that plugin is for. That you can actually do that, so it kind of saves some time.
Yeah.
Sort of like a ChatGPT thing. Like I put my chapters that I've written in there, and they kind of summarize it. But I like it. I like to keep everything in here. So that looks like it's very helpful. I just want to do a second question because it's sort of related, and then I do have several other questions, but if I could just talk about this one really quick. When
Okay.
you're over there at the documents, the sidebar there, where all your documents are, I know that it doesn't, I understand that, you know, what the chapter generator refers to. You showed that yesterday. I've known about that. But does it ever pull or even slightly refer to those side documents? And ever, I noticed something that I actually never noticed before, where you put the link, the link or not link. I've actually never used that before. So that was interesting. So my thing was, it can refer to the documents there in the corner if I do choose to hit link, correct?
Just hold on. I see that I'm missing my link chapters. Or is it because I turned off my story Bible? All right, because I turned off my story Bible. All right, this part here,
Yes, please.
this is very, very important. You want the one which is linked to your outline. And that's where it's going to, when he's doing the story, those link chapter, that's where he's going to get the information. Sorry about that. Someone at the door. All right. All right, sorry about that.
That's
So,
okay. Yeah.
so these are link is going to take the information from the link to write your story. Now, one of your questions probably goes with the fact that if we use quick edit, this one won't look at link or unlink. It's going to get the information from everything you have in your sidebar.
Okay, so that's what I mean. So if I put like I import a lot of my story into the sidebar there.
Mhm.
Brain dumps, notes, you know, things like that, I like to keep organized over there. So and some of it is just, you know, old random brain dumps, you know, from just ideas basically. And so I don't want it to pull it from there, but I do want to use it from time to time, that I just may copy and paste and put into the story basically.
Yeah,
So it won't pull from there then, is what you're saying. It won't refer to it unless I link to it.
exactly.
That was my point, not the outline link, but it won't link to anything in the sidebar unless,
It should not. Nicole can correct me if I'm wrong, but the only time that is going to go and get the information is when you use this one here. It's going to get all the information from everything you can on this sidebar. I
sure,
can
yes,
see any other one to do that. Nicole, can you correct me if I'm wrong?
Yeah, quick edit and quick chat look at more than like rewrite and describe and all that.
Yeah,
right,
but
right.
these
So
ones
yeah,
will just stay here. They will not go there.
outline link is something different than what I thought it was, and that's understandable. It was just something that I never really use. But another thing that I kind of would block, so it didn't refer to it basically when I was working on certain chapters. But
Yeah.
that's understood. I was watching you how you basically write an outline for every chapter, which is kind of like what I was doing too.
You remember I have chapter 1 here, and I have more
Mhm.
chapter 1.
Yeah,
So those one, I don't want them to be linked into my outline because they're not the one I want for my story. That's why I got to go and unlink those so they don't stay linked to my outline. They don't go and do any kind of change into my story, because now if it has more than one chapter 1 and it starts as a which one do I write from and get the information from, if they talk between each other, and remember we have all our character too, which are in here. So
right.
this is where I think it's very important to unlink the ones you don't use to make sure you got the link, the one that are for your story.
Okay. I did have another question, but you know, I don't want to monopolize the question
Oh yeah,
time.
that's weird. That's why we're here, to answer all the questions.
Maybe others needed. One thing, and I believe it deals with the world building. Not sure. It was a question that I rather asked in your Discord. Is it's in regards to and I don't. It doesn't really do that much anymore because it has improved so vastly. The writing techniques, especially with all the new elements. But there is a tendency still to write the purple prose, and sometimes almost too much. And I try to really, I even write it in my header, to avoid purple prose. And I think it understands it, but sometimes it doesn't. And I read somewhere on the Discord that they said in the world building cards, so cards kind of threw me off a little bit to talk about that you can actually write the word shun purple prose. I just don't know where you would put that. It just seems to me I discovered something new that I can add there if I ever want to, like we talked about yesterday, using the never in characters. If I want to use the word like, because sometimes like every sentence, I know when you write dark fantasy, sometimes it tends to use purple prose.
Because for me, the Sean D's, I would have put it in the genre, the style. I never heard about the word building. Nicole, can you put your 2 cents in here?
Yeah, so first of all, you could put it in the style box, like Manon said, to shun the purple prose. I think Stacy does it as a beat header too, and works really well.
Okay.
The world building cards, I would leave that alone for now.
Okay.
Try it out in the style box and a header first. That world building cards, that was a technique people were playing with, like to have it avoid certain phrases and all that. So once you got more comfortable, found phrases that it was always repeating, then you could try it. So basically you would just label your card something like phrases to avoid or something like that, something that you would name it to link to in beats. You'd have that list of words, and there's some people say that works really well, others say they haven't noticed a difference, but I would leave that alone for now and just stick with trying it in the style box and the beat header.
Right. Right.
But also keep in mind the AI does better when you tell it to do something, not necessarily not to do something.
Exactly.
So if I'm telling you don't eat that chocolate cake, well, you want something sweet, and all I did was tell you not to eat the chocolate cake. But instead, if I could say, hey, don't eat the chocolate cake, go eat the chocolate chip cookies. Well, that kind of makes you happier, right? Well, I don't know, you might not like either of those, but anyways, so think of giving the AI those guidelines. Like I don't even use anything with purple prose. I don't mention it at all, but I get very short, choppy sentences, simple the way I like them. And I use, like the no fucks given narrative style. That worked great to give me what I wanted. So play around with it and find something to tell it, yes, do this, write this way. And I think you'll find you'll have more success than telling it to not to do something. Because even though you told it not to do something, there's still a million other things it can go and do instead,
100% true. I agree with you. And lessons learned, doing that is that, the more I asked it not to do something, that's when it gets haywire. Yeah. But well said is that, ask it to do something the way you like it to write. In this, I like my more, esoteric, simplistic kind of style, basically. So, I don't, and it works a lot better. And then all the different elements now that you have, that you kind of go through the filters. It's nice to have once in a while purple prose, but there was one time it was like, wow, it's every single sentence, and it loves adjectives. And that's just, I would always edit those anyway, but sometimes it'll just say something like, really profound, like, where did that come from? So sometimes I want to get rid of it, so.
Yeah.
But there are parts when I just wanted to, I like that right there, that plugin, remove purple proses. I think that might be helpful. I can try that. I haven't tried any of your plugins. I'm back after a long,
it's a very expensive one, but 174 people are using it. Don't know what it's going to look like if you use it, but that's something you can try. They can definitely probably use a better model or a cheaper model for that.
Something to keep in mind too is I always like to encourage newcomers to run the same exact stride through every model with hardly anything in the style box, because you get an idea of the model's base output without guidance. Because some models tend to lean towards that. OpenAI models, most accurate especially, it leans very heavily to putting all of those phrases in that I absolutely hate. And it does not follow my style box as well. Like I can reduce that, but it still won't get close enough to my preferred style. It's just that model. So
right.
unless you're in love with that model, you might want to experiment with another one and see if you're liking the outcome of it better.
Or you can make your own plugin.
I'm sorry, go ahead. I
You
apologize.
can make your own plugin. You can just go and create, put a little title, do the description of what you want the plugin or what the plugin is supposed to do for you, and add here, just rewrite whatever I highlight and tell the AI what you want. Remove all the purple, which are equal to blah, 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 and try it. Just put example of a whole paragraph in here, run the test and see if you like it. You might be able to be the one who's writing the plugin you need for removing all the purple prose that you don't like, or sentence or words. You can write your own. It doesn't cost you
That's,
anything to write your own and test it.
so that's almost kind of like when I've taken a portion of my story, and just like you showed here today, where you put it in, I know that avoid the style, keep it blank like Nicole was saying, but I put my words in there from my story, and then it, read it and then used my words as a style. But I actually create a plugin of my own style then as well too. The way that I like it to read. I mean, instead of using the style, or can I just leave the style blank and then maybe use the plugin? Or so do you see what I'm saying? That I can actually put my own style plugin there.
Yeah, you can. Exactly.
This-
And there's a nice guide here on how to make your plugin.
Okay.
So it's a good things to go and learn about, and you can produce a very good plugin for your story. And then you can add how many words you want. If you want the whole books or 90,000 words, you do the plugin in consideration of what you want to do. So really, your limit is not even the sky; it's even bigger than that.
Are these plugins? Are they pretty successful? Do they work? I've not tried any of them. I'm gonna do that tonight. So
So you just go here in the plugin, anywhere on Sudowrite you see plugin, click on it, search what you're looking for, study the plugin which are there on purple prose, see which one you think will work for you, test it, and if you see that none works for you, and just create your own and play with it.
okay.
And if you don't understand it, just go in the plugin guide, go learn how to do it and come back. Don't be shy, just try it.
Yeah, no doubt about it. That's some wild stuff. I only have one more question, and I apologize to everybody here, but hopefully they're working for you too. I have my story, and basically what I've done is summarized it. Like one of the things that I use Sudowrite for is to have my story. And like I said yesterday, there's a gap here, and there's a portion of the story that I've written. I go, I'm just not happy with it. Of course, we all cross that bridge at some point. And I'm like, yeah, I don't have a writing partner. Sudowrite is that writing partner for me. So I know that you have, maybe it's a plugin now, where it can summarize and critique your story and maybe tell you like, oh, this is not working. How about doing this instead? How is that improved? If it has improved, if it's still there, I've not used it. So if I'm looking for like somebody to critique, excuse me, critique my story,
Mhm.
how is that working? Is that still a plugin, or is there somewhere else that I can do that? And is it, good? Is it reliable? Or is it too AI-ish or whatever?
Yeah, there is one plugin which do that. Do I have it with me here? Do you know which one I'm good enough?
Well, I was gonna say, make me laugh. I was gonna say, oh no, what are you saying?
The good enough
I'm just
is
kidding.
the plugin you're looking for to see if your story is good enough to be published.
I see. Okay.
And one thing
There's the feedback too. That's not a plugin, but it's in the plugin list. There's that feedback. That's the original Sudowrite feature.
Yeah, I think that's what it was called, feedback. And that's also a plugin now?
It's not a plugin, but it is in the
Oh.
plugin menu. It's at the bottom of it.
okay, let's
And
see.
then I have one for, I think it's called Story Analyzer. But I can't remember the length of it. And I think the good enough one holds a lot more of the story information. So a lot of people like it.
And the
Yeah,
one
and I'll look for that. If they're all under the plugin list, feedback, story analyzer, and good enough, I might try them all. I know it's going to use a lot of credits, but it might be worth the time and the effort just to, let it run its magic. And I've done it before where I've written something, I've done the expand or something like that. I'm like, I never thought of that. That's actually, it went in a direction that I was happy with and, you
Yeah.
know, so,
And there's a plugin school on Monday, and there is the nonfiction class on Monday, and there's 3 class on Monday, right, Nicole? We have a lot of class.
Yes, but one is invite only, so people
Okay.
won't be able to see that one.
Okay.
yeah, that's a tough one because they're back to back.
One
So,
thing I forgot to show you guys is my story in reverse. The one of you who has their story already written, but they don't know how to fill up their story Bible. They can bring their whole story in one folder here. Select all, and you go and do in that plugin, and you go and find my story in reverse. You click on it, and your story is going to be in reverse. So it's giving you the genre in 40 words, the style in 40 words, your synopsis about 800 words. And you can copy these and put them into your story Bible. So this one is the one I create. So we have even your character, they all in reverse, your outline in reverse. So for someone who has a story that they written like years ago and it says, well, I don't remember everything I was thinking about, and it's like 90,000 words, you can get your 90,000 words here, do the story in reverse, and you're going to get everything to put in your story Bible.
that's pretty inventive.
So maybe not perfect, but it's going to give you a lot. So I found those
Yeah, that's
word
okay.
summary from kind of inaccurate. Could just be me though. It's possible. So the genre, basically, this is a science fiction adventure. So this is a genre right there. The style is rich, creative, detailed, seamless, blah, blah, blah. So it's all right. But if you don't like it, you can also take 2,000 words of your story and bring it into Match My Style. Then you get also the information that may not be accurate enough for you from the plugin. But this is one of the things for people who has, and you can tell it's just the 3 chapter that I brought in. So we have 16,000 words. Anything we have 9 chapter, but we don't have 9 chapter. But hey, maybe it's better to get it cut down in 9 chapter for the 3 first chapters, so that make a book series.
Okay. I think that's great.
It saves time, that's for sure. Now they're working on a feature to bring in story. Yes, they are working on that. They're working on a lot of new feature, a lot. And the one she was talking about is in the bottom, the feedback one. How do we use that one? The same way that we use the reverse story, or?
I think that one holds up to 50,000 words, so you can highlight up to 50,000 words of your story, and it'll break things down for you.
Let's go see what it's going to do. Let's test it.
Hey, do you want to keep recording, or do you want to shut it off before the recording gets too big?
Let's test that, and I will show it off. Feedback is reading. We have a percentage going. It may take a long time. So it works with the highlighted, right? It's taking. I may have to stop the recording if it's not moving. Oh, there you go. Sudowrite. To me, the theme was about the powerful teamwork of friendship, especially in the face of the great challenge, adversity. I love the idea of Hogwarts in space. I think there's a few areas with merit. The dynamic amount, Harry, Ron, and Hermione. The passage brief mentioned that they face a challenge and obstacle. And then another one here. The passage teams, powerful friend team. How many? So you make 3 cards. Where you get 3 cards from? So maybe ask feedback. Is it normal that you give 3 cards? You can delete the card. But that's how feedback works. All right, so I'm going to stop the recording, and you're right, I kind of forgot it was still recording. I want to thank everyone, everyone who stayed all the way to an hour and 35 minutes together. Please let me know in the feedback emails that you're going to get or already received how you like the class and what you like to see in the following class or more class, anything you like to see more. So thank you, everyone. My name is Manon Doucette. I have my beautiful co-host, Nicole Broussard, with me. I thank you so much for staying with me for those 3 days. And I'm doing it again next month. So follow us. We are here to help.